To begin ORI procedures, the flight commander will call the command fall in.
Fall in!
At this point, the Guidon Bearer will first align themselves with the flight commander. Then, they will take 3 paces forward. From there, they will conduct a left face and march to a position which will allow the flight to center off of the flight commander. Once the Guidon Bearer is in place, they will pop their arm up at dress right dress, while still keeping the Guidon off the ground. From this point, the element leaders will fall in and the rest of the flight will follow suit, filling in from back to front. Once a cadet feels the presence of another cadet on their fingertips to their left, they will drop their arm to the position of attention. The flight commander will now begin sizing the flight. First, they will march to a position which will help them make sure the commands are being executed properly. For sizing the flight, they will be positioned behind the flight. The flight commander will now call a right face to get the flight into column formation. They will then render the following verbiage. With the exception of the Guidon Bearer and the element leaders, if you are taller than the cadet in front of you, tap them on the shoulder and move forward. They will then call a right face to get the flight into inverse line formation, after which they will render the same verbiage, but this time with no exceptions. Lastly, the flight commander will call a left face to get the flight back into column formation and render the same verbiage as before.
Right! Pace! With the exception of the Guidon Bearer and element leaders, if you are taller than the cadet in front of you, tap them on the shoulder and move forward. Right! Pace! With no exceptions, if you are taller than the cadet in front of you, tap them on the shoulder and move forward.
Here we can see that the first element leader is taller than the other element leaders. Upon hearing this command, the taller cadet will tap the shorter cadet on the shoulder using their right hand. The taller cadet will step forward to the right at a 45-degree angle, and the shorter cadet will step backward to the left at a 45-degree angle in order to switch places.
Pace! With the exception of the Guidon Bearer and element leaders, if you are taller than the cadet in front of you, tap them on the shoulder and move forward.
Seeing that their flight has been sized, the flight commander will now position themselves to call the command count off. They will march to a position which is 45 degrees in front of and to the right of the flight, facing them, while they are in column formation. The flight commander will now call the command count off 2 times. On the off portion of the command, the element leaders say 1 in a normal conversational tone. After the element leaders say 1, members in the next file turn their heads and eyes in unison and say 2. This procedure continues subsequently until all files, full or partial, are numbered. All movements are made in a precise manner with snap.
Count up! 1, 2, 3. Count up! 1, 2, 3. Pace!
The flight commander will now march to a position directly next to the Guidon Bearer, take 6 paces forward, and then recenter themselves with the flight. They will then call open ranks, march, and immediately march to a position beside the Guidon Bearer and facing down the first element. On the command march, the first element will take 2 steps forward, the second will take 1 step, and the third will execute an immediate dress right dress. Once elements 1 and 2 take the required amount of steps, they will execute an immediate dress right dress as well.
Open ranks, hutch!
The flight commander will now verify the alignment of each element, calling that cadet's rank number, cadet up or back. So for example, first cadet up, first cadet back. Note that there is no command of steady and it will not be used. To verify the alignment of each element, the flight commander will stand to the side of the first element and correct the positioning of those cadets. The flight commander will then perform a left face, take 3 paces forward, perform a right face, and then take 1 small step to the right in order to correctly position themselves to correct the next element. This process will be repeated for all remaining elements. Once all elements are aligned, the flight commander will march to a position 1 pace to the right and 3 paces in front of the Guidon Bearer. Perform a left face and call ready front.
Second cadet, back. Second cadet, up. Second cadet, up. Third cadet, up. Third cadet, up. Right up, up.
Now the flight commander will take 1 pace forward and conduct a right face in preparation to receive the inspector.
Good afternoon, sir. Blank flight is prepared for inspection.
Accompany me on this inspection.
Accompany you on this inspection. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Second and third elements, parade. Yes. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Ready.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Left flank. Halt.
Second element to attack.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Ready.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. To the end.
Left flank. Halt.
Second element to attack.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Ready. Step.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Ready. Step.
Good afternoon, sir.
To the end.
Left flank. Halt.
Once the entire flight has been inspected, the inspector will go where they please, and the flight commander will position themselves 3 paces in front of and 1 pace to the right of the Guidon Bearer. Here, they will call the flight to attention, take 1 pace forward, and conduct a right face to greet the inspector.
Third element, parade. Halt. Flight change. Halt. Sir, blank flight has completed open ranks inspection.
Feedback is as follows.
Will that be all?
That will be all.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
To conclude the open ranks inspection procedures, the flight commander will call rest, which will allow the flight to stand at parade rest and be permitted to talk. They will then center themselves on the flight, give feedback, close the ranks, and then call the command fall out.
Yes. Feedback is as follows. Flight change. Halt. Close ranks. Halt. Fall out.